How many of you feel that you're not good enough? Come on. Let's be honest here. Maybe for someone, or maybe to do something. How many of you doubt yourselves? Really doubt yourselves, like, me too. Okay? And I'm not gonna, lie to you. Even my personal assistant, you can put your hands down, it's okay, I'm not judging you. So, even my personal assistant thinks I'm not good enough. Can you believe that? My own personal assistant? Perhaps I must get a new one, right? But unfortunately, I can't. You know why? Because my personal assistant is my mind. And my mind is such a person who stays with me 365, 24/7, rent-free, and thinks I'm a joke. Okay? Will you agree with me if I told you that our minds is a great illusionary artist? They cook up these amazing imaginary stories and show to you in such a way that in any given situation you feel that, yeah, this is true. This is what is it. This is what it is. This is how it's going to happen. And what happens after that? You start worrying. Oh God. Oh no. And you know what happens when you worry? You start getting stressed out. And then what happens? Your performance. Was that too loud? Sorry. But interestingly, many studies suggest that 97% of the times, or rather it says more than 97% of the times, what we worry about is not even true. That doesn't even happen. Can you believe it? Yes? Well, you might look it up. But in my case, I'm telling you, my mind tricked me several times, alright? And it has been successful till date. And I'm going to be sharing a few stories with you where I got controlled by it, and then later how I controlled it and how I'm still managing it. Alright? So let's start. I'm going to take you through the timeline of my life, which I feel you can connect with me. Alright? So here, I'm a happy-go-lucky kid, and I'm in school. I'm in primary where I'm into sports, active sports. I'm pretty good. I'm winning trophies every year in the sports day. I'm on the third, by the way, okay? Not the first one. But I would make it to the podium, okay? And everything was going well till I went into my teenage and I became fat, okay? Obese, if you will. And it was okay initially because, it was cute, chubby, everyone would just pull my cheeks. It was all good. But as time went on, I became bigger. My clothes started getting tighter and it started to show. And when it started to show, I became a butt of jokes amongst my, I don't want to name anyone, but it's just that everyone around me started making fun of me. Hey Mutu, hey Tutula, hey Duma, hey Dadia. So I had so many names, hey Sand and hey Hati. I mean, and they would just pull my flab like as if, they're testing what is it was poking me around, it was kind of disgusting, but I went through a lot at that time, and somewhere I started not feeling too good about myself. I started becoming quieter, but more angrier. I started becoming more, reserved, and I would become more weird. I would stay in one corner of the classroom, and I would just, hate everything, hate everyone, and, I would just keep cursing everyone. It was really bad. It got bitter, and sometimes I would call others by names, in retaliation, hey this, hey that, because even though I didn't mean it, but I called them. Why? Because I wanted to express my anger. And the disaster continued, it continued to my PUC days. Can we have the next one? So it continued to my PUC days where I was still plump and I was a fashion disaster, okay? I was like the Jethalal of my class. And my, communication skills, like I said, 16, 17 was when I actually started speaking English fluently. I still don't know if I speak good enough, but my communication skills were terrible, especially with girls. I just couldn't speak. I would come and, they would say, hey Akash, what's up? And I'm like, and I could literally hear my heartbeat so loud, and I'm like, nothing, okay, yeah, okay, bye. And I would just mess up conversations. I didn't know how to strike a conversation, and I didn't know how to get out of a conversation. It was bad. And but what happened is over a period of time, I was started to being misjudged. misunderstood, and that really got me because I was a good guy. For me, at least, I thought I was a good guy because I came from a pretty decent family that I was taught good values. But I was being misjudged, and I got angrier. And somewhere I was getting frustrated, and I wanted to prove my mettle. Right? I need to do something. I need to show myself that I'm capable of doing something. That's when a class ended, and one day a couple of cadets from the NCC come into the class and like, hey, we are enrolling for the upcoming year, and if you're a cadet, we'll do X, Y, Z, and you can do this, and all that. They came, and I was like, that's it. This is what I'm looking for. Somewhere where people don't know me and they're not going to judge me. Let me just go. So I signed up for the National Cadet Corps, and it was the best decision I made at that time because NCC gave me a platform. Look at me, Havaldar. Okay, you know why? Because that was also the name I was being called upon. I was still fat shamed. They didn't have a uniform of my size at that time available, so I got them stitched because I was big. So that was the kind of thing I was still dealing with. But when I was in the NCC, I was, in the parades. I loved it. The parades, the ragda, the camps where we would go off for 15 days, the competitions. And the best part about NCC was everyone was treated equally. Equal. Because we were wearing the same uniform, we were going through the same treatment, and if we had to be recognized, you had to be performed. And when you're performing, you are recognized. You get those ranks. So I was a corporal, and then lance corporal, then sergeant. It all went up, and I was doing pretty well. I got many honorable opportunities in the NCC, and that's when I realized that I've been building a lot of confidence within me. Because I remember as a kid when I was at my nani's place in Kolkata, and I'd become fat. My nani had told me, "Hey, why don't you go run out? You become so fat, just run." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." And she would come out in the balcony, and she's standing and she's peeking at me. So I would start running. I would stop there. Okay? I would stop there because my mind is telling me, it's too hard. People are looking at you. They're going to say a fat kid is on the run. You don't want to do this. So what I do? I just cut in from the back. I come in, and there are trees over here. Okay? And I wait for a few minutes, rest it out. My nani is still waiting that where is this guy? And I jump out of the bushes. Okay? And she's like, oh, here he comes, and I come again. Okay, I do that a couple of times, and she's convinced that I've completed the lab. So what did I do here? I was convinced by my mind that this is too hard, and I didn't want to feel any sort of discomfort. Why? Because in school days, when I was being bullied, fat shamed, I was feeling discomfort. So my mind was being conditioned that you're in discomfort, and I didn't want to feel that discomfort again. And to top it, what I used to do? While going up, I would go to the borewell, take some water, and I'm like, Nani, come, give me a snack. So instead of making the right choice that, I should complete the lab, I took the easy choice. Our mind is very, very finicky in that way. It always chooses the easy one. But like somebody really mentioned that you need to train your mind, and that is possible. And that's what happened in the NCC. Now coming back to NCC, I got many honor. Can you spot me here? Okay, I'm somewhere there. So I got many honorable opportunities, I was a part of many competitions, and that conditioned my character. I went ahead into college. I participated in many fests. I joined a youth transformation program where, I got to meet like-minded people who also had their own stories. I got many tools where I could learn on how to deal with people, situations, and everything else. Then I went on to win many competitions. That shield is not mine, by the way. It belongs to my class. I'm just holding it. The medal is mine. So that went well. My character built really well. So I passed out of college with good colors, and then I went on to go, get a job in a telecom company where I'm working as a product and a process trainer. 8 months down, I'm doing well, and then I get bored. I'm so bored. I'm like, I can't do this. Too repetitive. I just feel that my full potential is not tapped. Did you just hear me now? School. Oh God. Office. Oh God. Okay, there are two different. My mind is being conditioned in two different places. Here, I am like, I don't want to do this. Here I am, how can I do this better? Okay. And that's when my dad called up upon me and he said, hey, I need some help with the family business. Why don't you come and join me in? All right. And by the way, my dad is my biggest inspiration. I really love him. And whatever I am today, it's all because of him and my mom. So I really love that, and I'm very happy to share the story today. So growing up, I didn't really connect much with my father because, generally fathers are like those strict figures looked upon. Your mom like, "Papa ko bol dungi," and you're like, "Oh, please don't tell dad." Or you would just go to get, your marks card signed by your father because the teacher said, "Get it signed from your father." And I'm like, "Oh no." Once I fake signed my dad. That was a different story. Anyway, so I started spending a lot more time with him in the family business, and we were out one day in the outskirts. We had a meeting and we had gone out, and suddenly on the drive, my dad spots a tree and he's like, "Hey, this is where I used to, have lunch." And I'm like, "Where? I don't see any restaurant or a cafe or a, dhaba wala." He's like, No. Your mom would pack these tiffin boxes. I would keep it in my suitcase in the scooter. I would come when it would be lunchtime. I would stop under the shade of the tree. Then I would, park the scooter, put the stand, open the briefcase, eat the lunch box, okay, and then pack again, drink water and march. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I've marked every tree in every different part of the Bangalore city." And I'm like, it was like a train that came and hit me. I couldn't believe what had happened. And I was in such ignorance all my life, thinking that I'm 22, 23 that time when this conversation happened, and I'm clueless. And that's when I decided that, I've been selfish all my life, and I'm now going to make sure that, whatever I do going ahead, it's going to be dedicated to my parents. So year 2010, I joined my dad. Year 2015, we had two businesses where we had a wholesale ice cream distribution and we had a retail food business. So we shut down the wholesale unit because it was a loss-making one. Retail, we had 5 counters in IT companies. 2015, we make it to 26. So in 5 years, that's the growth we had. So that was something that we really achieved as a team, and we're really proud of it. In between, we booked our first car because we were from a very, not so well-to-do financial background. So everything for us was the first. The first car, the first house. I got married first time, and it's still on. Okay, don't get ideas. So it was all going well, but then something happened that led me to here, and that's why I'm here today. So you remember, right? I was still telling you that I was obese and everything, and I was still battling it out during my college days, on and off. I passed out, and then I'm at work, and with work you just don't give a much of priority into it, and then what happens? I gain a lot of weight. So it's year 2012. That's me. Okay, year 2012. I've reached 90 kilos, and I'm miserable. And when I realized that I'm in such a bad state, I start taking shortcuts. I go to slimming centers. I don't want to name them. I start taking slimming pills. I'm trying to do things that I can lose weight. They say na, "Ye wala diet लीजिए, ये पानी पीजिए, ये आपका weight कम हो जाएगा." I tried doing all those things. Nothing worked. Okay, nothing worked. And then one day I read about article on Bangalore Times about Hrithik Roshan. Any Hrithik Roshan fans here? Yeah, that's great. I'm a big fan too. So I read about an article where he transformed, where he had double slip disc, and he was on bed for months, and how he came back into shape. I'm like, wow, a man like that was broken into pieces. He built himself again. I need to do this. And the article mentioned about his coach, Chris Gethin. So I read up about him, and next slide please. So I read up about him, and I found, yeah, that's the guy. So I read up about him, and I bought his book online, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to read this 12-week transformation plan. I do it, bam, 12 kilos gone in 3 months. Wow, that's magic. For a decade, I've been struggling to do something about things. It wasn't working, but this time it did. His book changed my life. I was doing really well. Next slide, please. And that's when this happened. That's me over there. Look at the difference. So this is 2013 where I'm getting married, and just before that, Chris arrives into India, and I wanted to thank him because he had changed my life. And then I thought, okay, what do I do? And that's when I got a tattoo called DTP it's called Dramatic Transformation Principle, in order to honor him, because that's his training principle. He was so moved that he actually posted an post on me online, and I was so happy that he did, and it was amazing. So going on forward, I move on into my life. I get married. I'm on my honeymoon. 2 months I'm off the gym because I want to enjoy life. I'm being pampered. It's my honeymoon, baby. I'm all over the place. And again, I'm binge eating. I'm a big foodie, by the way. I love it, and everything is going well. And then I'm like, हाँ ठीक है, gym जा रहा है, चले जाएंगे ना, अब तो पता है weight कैसे lose करना. I know how to do this. And then I go to the gym, and then bam, I get into a lifting accident. It is serious. Okay, it's so serious that my MRI shows I have double disc herniation and triple disc cracks. My spine is gone. Okay, my spine surgeon like, don't even think about setting a foot into the gym. If you do, you will be on my surgery table. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? That's when reality hits me. I took everything for granted. My parents working hard, me working out and not, holding on to my results. So I was like, what do I do? So I'm at home, partially on the bed, partially on the computer, trying to work, eating, depressed. I was back in that black box again, this side. But again, my mind is like, you're not good enough. Okay, you're done. So 2015, after 2013, 2014 is when the accident happened. 2015, Chris is coming back to India. He's in Mumbai for a fitness expo. I go meet him and I tell him, hey Chris, you know what? Before I meet him, I'm in the line and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I'm standing in the queue and my man is in front of me and I'm just in the worst shape of my life. So that's when I realized that if I can't get out of this, I can't get out of anything in my life. So I told him, hey, you know what, Chris? I'm going to take off my shirt. Let's take a before photo. 1 year, next year, when I'm here, I'm transformed. He said, okay, let's do this. We click a photo. I come back to Bangalore. I enter my room and I'm like, what did I do? How am I going to do this? The devil returned. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But then I remembered why I'm doing this. Come on. And then I started planning. I started acting. I got my physiotherapy in. I got my workouts in. And I just planned this. Okay. I got help. I used Chris's programs. I also used my friends who I enlisted. I also enlisted Mr. Jack Chima, who's Chris's business partner and best friend. So we were in constant touch. And then finally, in 2016, something happened. Next slide, please. That's me. All right. So here I am, 2016. I was 90 kilos then. In 2015, here I am 67 kilos, 7.5% fat. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to meet Chris then just 1 week before I decide to step on stage. Next one, please. There. I'm on stage. I'm like, let's do this, man. Let's do this. If you're going, then you go big. And then I meet Chris and I surprise him in next. There. He just loved it. I printed a life-size photo of myself just to take a before and after photo. And that's where it is. He puts it online and I'm all over the place. Okay, everyone's messaging me on Facebook, Instagram. Everything is going well. I'm so happy about it. I become an overnight sensation. This is 2016. Things go viral and stay for some time. Here every day things are going viral. Okay. So next one, please. Yeah. So this also happened. I met Hrithik Roshan, and I went through a fitness challenge where I won it, and it was amazing. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, you can do it. All you have to do is train your mind. You don't have to worry about. Next one, please. Just ponder about this. I won't do it. Why? Because of the experiences you've gone through? No. I can't do it. Don't doubt yourself. It's all right. I want to do it. This is the most important one, is when you decide that you want to do it. And when you decide it that you want to do it, you will do it. And then that's how it goes step by step. All right. So the only element that has controlled me by my mind was using the element of fear. So I want to tell you that you've been in a state of fear before here today. You survived. You came here today. Believe me, you will survive this too, and you will go further and you'll do well for yourselves. So do what you fear. Don't fear what you do. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Next one, please. This is my family. I couldn't bring them here, so I just got them on stage over here. Whatever I am is because of them, so I really want to acknowledge that. And I'm grateful to all my teachers, my mentors. And always remember, Bina Guru ke gyan nahi hota. Respect your teachers, whoever they are, your parents, your teachers, your mentors, your coaches. Because without teaching, there is no knowledge. So grab it. And my good luck to you. Thank you.